What's up, guys?
Like a veteran at this point, or how does it still feel at this point?
Feels normal. Feels like I'm supposed to be here, man. That's all.
Was the last result an important one for you to get that feeling?
Yeah, man. Like I've said before, it was just kind of like a relief feeling. It was like, okay, you spent 11 years of your life to get to this moment, and yeah, it was big. It was big to showcase that I belong here.
I was gonna say, who does that prove that to? Does it prove it to other people, or does it prove it to yourself? That I know I haven't been chasing a crazy dream.
Yeah, man. That's the biggest thing. Like I've had a lot of like hate from a lot of people. I've had a lot of support from a lot of people on this journey, man. And you know, you start second guessing it. You know, after the Contender Series, I didn't know where I was going to go. I don't know anything else. This is all I know, and to get that win, showcase that there's a reason that this is all I've known. This is the reason I dedicated my life to this.
Were you starting to think about a backup plan?
I mean, there was no backup plan, so I was starting to think of what the hell do I do now? You know, I mean, you know, like after that fight for a couple weeks, and then the Terrence McKinney fight came along. You know, two guys that were on the Contender Series, and you know, my manager, he was like, "Well, here we go, either make or break, and let's go." And so then I got that win. And it was like, okay, you know, we're still at the top of the game.
Nice. So, what do you think about this matchup? On paper, it looks like it could be a pretty exciting fight.
I love it, man. I love this matchup. As soon as it was offered, I said yes before I confirmed it. Obviously, I had to call Kraus because we were at a bare knuckle boxing match for one of my teammates, and I had to call him. But right away, I loved the fight. I loved the fight. Watching this fight with Kevin Aguilar, I loved this matchup.
Yeah, looks like it could be like a potential like fight of the night type matchup. Is that what you're expecting? Is it kind of a crazy battle like that?
I mean, no, I'm not expecting that. I'm just expecting a one-sided fight. But if that happens and I end up with 50 G's that way with my hand raised, then okay. But either way, I plan on walking out of there with that in my pocket.
Your incredible track record of submissions. Like, what do you attribute that to? Is that something? I mean, what do you have? Even the vaunted submission experts of the day, the most decorated BJJ guys, don't have as many finishes as you have.
Man, it's because it's a lot of when I started out, I trained with a bunch of big dudes, and like I had no other way to you know, wrestle, grapple them was to submit them. I mean, maybe, and then like my pace, a lot of times is I'll go, and then eventually like my transitions is what I attribute that to. Is like I'm very good in the scramble, and I'm very good at my transitional game, and that lands me in submissions that sometimes like I'm like, oh, here it is, let's go, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, you know, thinking about it. Like I have 23 submissions or whatever, and that's only my pro career, you know. I had 11 as an amateur, so it's just crazy, you know. It's crazy to think about those numbers. It just really shows my age in this game.
Are you a black belt? I don't know. I mean, do you train in the gi at all? Or?
I'm a white belt.
You're a white belt, so no gi training at all?
Yeah. No, one time, and I choked my coach, Ryan Jensen, at the time, and I just grabbed it and I like choked him and I took it off. I never put it on again just because I was like, oh, what's up? You know, like I never put it on. He's been trying to convince me for a long time, but yeah, I just grabbed his gi and like grabbed my gi, you know, belt around him, my little white belt, and I choked him and he had a tap and I ran off. I took the shit off and I ran off.
I mean, he couldn't even give you like a stripe for that or something, man?
No, if I was in a gi, I think I would be a black belt, but you know, I don't need that. I'll do that shit when I'm old and crippled, you know. I'll get that stuff. So, but yeah, now it is what it is.
That's funny. Last thing for me, like you said, man, you kind of established that you belong here. So, what's the goal now? I mean, obviously, it's a long way to the top of the division, but where do you see yourself going from this point on?
Well, I mean, I keep getting wins, man. I belong here, and Saturday night I beat Charles Rosa, and I mean, he's 4-4 in the UFC, like. But he's been around for a long time, I think, is why he's got this name. I don't understand why he's got, you know, like he beat a fat and out of shape Kevin Aguilar, and that was as big as win of his career. I mean, that dude was chubby, man. Like, and he was out of shape. Like, I don't understand. Like, but he contributes that to the biggest, you know. And then he hangs his hat on like, oh, I went to split it in with Yair Rodriguez. That was his UFC debut. I mean, you know, I mean, I just keep climbing the ladder. I've been here a lot of times. I'm the underdog again, and you know, I hope you guys keep counting out because my buddies, myself, I keep making a bunch of money on myself. So let's go.
It's funny you mentioned that. Has that been bothering you in the lead up to this fight? The fact that you're the underdog.
No, man. I was a plus 300 some against TJ Laramie, who's a 22-year-old kid, man. That doesn't bother me at all. I've been in this game for a long time. I've been the underdog a lot. I was an underdog my whole life. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. I grew up like I'm not supposed to be a professional athlete. I'm not supposed to be winning fights in the UFC. Like, like I've been counted out my whole life. So this is nothing new to me. But Saturday night, people start recognizing.
You mentioned about, we're talking about long-term goals and stuff. You mentioned the amount of submissions you have. Do you start thinking about submission records and maybe if you can get another 10 or something like that and set some UFC records?
Man, I don't think about that at all. If they land in my plate, I'll take them. Like I feel like I match up well with a lot of the guys in the division, even the top 15, top 10 guys. So I'll just keep climbing the ranks. I'll keep, let me pick off all these guys like one by one from start to the bottom. We jump from, climbing the ladder. I started my UFC career off with Grant Dawson, and that dude's going to be a world champion. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just going to keep climbing, and whatever they give me, I take. I don't say no to fights, so let's go.
I wanted to ask you about the gi thing. I understand that you feel like you don't need it, but do you think other fighters maybe put too much importance on the gi?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't, like, if whatever your preference is, man, like, I just never liked it, and maybe that's because I was too stubborn to be like, oh, I don't know. My preference is not in a gi. We don't train in a gi at Glory MMA with, and I've just never trained in a gi, man. I don't like it, and I don't want to train in it, so. All right, let's go. Thank you, guys.